More perfect union video on Latino Trump voters. Oh no. Okay, can we watch this without getting as bitter about it as we typically do? Are we capable of that?
There's been a lot of talk about the Latino vote. Every single election in my lifetime, political pundits have spent a lot of time and money trying to analyze the motivations of Latino voters.
Gotta say, not great for the Democratic Party that they don't seem to be interested in courting the Latino vote the same way they did the black vote. Like stuff like the South Carolina Democratic chairwoman saying that if you don't choose us rather than Nevada as the first state in the 2028 presidential primary election, that means that you value Latin voters more than black voters. What the fuck does that imply? Or like Jasmine Crockett making those weird comments about how it's brown people's turn to be on the plantation. Stuff like this is not great for the future. Also, it's like racist, and I think racism is bad. I've heard that.
But we're going to do something different. We're going out on the ground in the Rio Grande Valley to actually talk to voters.
1 in 5 Latino men regret voting for President Trump.
That's you. Probably higher than
That's
that.
you. That's you.
People are under stress.
Yeah.
People are trying to figure out how to put food on the table.
Prices of food and the price of gas and the price of
everything keeps going
up and up and up and up and up.
They've seen politicians promise this or that or the other, and they've seen politicians turn on those promises.
It's true that Latinos have shifted dramatically towards Trump in the last 2 elections. With Latino men, it's even more dramatic.
And it's also true that just 2 years into Trump's second term, Latino voters could be shifting back again. But there's a much deeper story going on that the mainstream media and the leadership of both parties isn't telling you. Democrats might be confident they're winning Latinos back this time. But what happens after this one election if they don't deliver on their promises?
That question might be coming to a head right here in Texas's 15th district.
Are those, I think that was ostrich leather Western boots.
That question might be coming to a head right here.
Yep, pretty sure that is. Or it's fake, but you know.
In Texas's 15th district.
The incumbent is Monica De La Cruz, a Republican. Her challenger is new to politics.
Autism announcement. Autism alert. Special interest alert. Ding, 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 ding. Ding. Oh.
Bobby Pulido, a Tejano star who retired from his music career to run for office.
He's an unconventional Democrat, bringing a shock to the system of South Texas politics.
What do you think of James Tallarico? I like James Tallarico. He's not like super far left or whatever, but he seems like a good person. And I like the fact that he's pointing out that the average Christian conservative is not like really Christian at all. Like the hypocrisy between believing in and venerating Christ and then being like, as a Republican, I love murder, death, and rape. You know, probably not good.
So what is it about him? We traveled deep into the conservative heart of the district and sat Pulido down with Latinos who voted for Trump but don't like what they see. And we watched as Pulido made his pitch to get their vote and give them a convenient pathway into the Democratic Party.
Five points ahead here. Wow! That's actually the most favorable polling I've seen yet. 5 points ahead of Ken Paxton for senator. I really hope that keeps up. That being said, there is a huge undecided margin here. 45-40 between 2 candidates that both have high name recognition suggests a large number of potential Republican voters who are just on the fence about Paxton. Like this is a little worrying because we're talking about a very high name recognition. So the missing 15% here is probably people who are more undecided on Paxton than they are undecided on Tallarico. Still, 5 points up.
During the Biden administration, the government just was off, man. It looked weak. It just didn't look strong, man.
Mario grew up in the Valley. He runs a construction company. It's been a family business for years. He voted for Trump in 2016, 2020, and 2024.
Okay, man.
Mom was making dinner, and Dad was in the living room watching TV, and one of the shows that I would watch with Dad was The Apprentice. And I believe we were conditioned. I believe we were conditioned to keep seeing him, right? And there's a certain group of people that like.
By the way, black voters are back in Tallarico at higher rates than previous Democrats. Is that true? Hold on. That would actually be pretty interesting.
There's a good amount of debate on the Democratic side of the aisle in Texas over whether black voters support state lawmaker James Tallarico. Well, We have some interesting numbers. Tallarico is running against Attorney General Ken Paxton in November, but there was a pretty bitter primary race between Tallarico and Dallas Congresswoman Jazz.
How is that surprising they're not voting for Paxton? I'm not taking this as a percentage thing. I just mean total engagement with voting. I'm surprised Tallarico would engage them more than previous Democratic Senate candidates. But I guess Tallarico is pretty popular.
Crockett has since called the primary election racist.
Yeah, keep in mind, Crockett is actively trying to depress black votes in Texas against Tallarico, which is pretty fucking awful, like really nasty.
And says she's going to spend her time this November helping down ballot candidates and not campaign directly with Tallarico. I was listening to the podcast from the University of Texas's Texas Politics Project, ran by pollsters Jim Henson and Josh Blank, maybe the most consistent pollsters in the state. They looked at their latest poll on a Tallarico-Paxton matchup and compared it to where Beto O'Rourke was in 2018 and where Colin Allred was in 2024, with specifically the state's black voters. And they found Tallarico has more support among black voters right now than both Congressman Allred and Congressman O'Rourke did.
Okay, that does surprise me. Genuinely, that surprises me.
At this same time in the race, 67% of black voters who answered the poll in June 2026 said they'd vote for Tallarico. 13% for Paxton, 12% said they didn't have an opinion. Now, back in June 2024, 47% of black voters chose Colin Allred, 23%.
Holy shit. Okay, wait, I didn't realize the split was that big, like at all. That's huge. That's really impressive. The Democratic Party has done a lot to weaponize the Congressional Black Caucus and also just generally id poll in an effort to disenfranchise progressive candidates. So if a progressive, and he's not a DSA candidate or anything, but if a progressive like Tallarico can do really, really well with black turnout, in spite of Jasmine Crockett trying her best to, throw false allegations of racism to dampen his campaign, that could be absolutely huge. Man, Texas deserves so much better. Texas is like the all-American state in so many ways. It sucks so much that it's been turned into a hellish pseudo-democratic Republican shit pit. There's so much there,
Chose Ted Cruz, 22, did not have an opinion yet. And then back in June 2018, 49% of black voters chose Beto O'Rourke, 11% chose Ted Cruz, and 31% did not have an opinion yet. Now,
I didn't know the disparity was that big. Senate polling among Hispanics. Jesus Christ. Among Hispanics, Tallarico plus 44. White people better be turning out like crazy for Paxton with numbers like this, dude. The white people need to show up in lockstep 1-to-1. Fuck off.
See success. I like success, man. Yeah. I like success, and I like for people to be successful.
That's great.
I voted for Trump during his first term.
Robert also lives in the
Just put the Tallarico vote in the bag.
Rio Grande Valley. Like many of his neighbors, up until recently, he was a Trump voter.
He promised a whole lot of stuff, and I fell for it. The country's going to get better. He's going to bring this economy back, and we're going to be where we need to be.
Texas's 15th district stretches from the Rio Grande Valley up to the suburbs of San Antonio. It is more than 80% Hispanic and predominantly working class. It moved significantly right in 2020 and 2024, especially amongst Latino men. Mario and Robert now think differently about Trump's success.
We're going to win so much.
These people are delusional. Yeah, and a lot of them, as is always the case, they're more motivated by white supremacy than you might think. It's just, remember that Latin American politics are different to American politics. In American politics, we have a pretty clear, not clear like in a definite sense, but we have a general consensus socially about what white means. But in Latin America, the biggest racial political dynamic is between the descendants of the indigenous people and of the Spanish/Portuguese rapists who came over and started propagating their own lineage. So in Latin America, there are literally like fucking hundreds of millions of people who we would consider brown who come up here to America and are to us brown, but in their head they're like, I am the descendant of the Spanish conquistadors, I am an honorable warrior of Western civilization, with whiteness and Christianity do I defend this land, etc., etc. Like it is a mestizo supremacy. Yeah, it's a So Argentinians, to varying extents, yes. Nick Fuentes shit. Okay, but like the thing we make fun of Nick Fuentes for is genuinely like the norm in Latin America. Their racial politics just work differently than ours do. So we'll see a person and we'll be like, that dude's Mexican, but that dude in Mexico would be considered part of the like white, they wouldn't call it white, but like translated to our framework, they would be part of the white supremacist political hegemon.
You may even get tired of winning, and you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning.
Tired of winning would be that the market is stable. Prices and
Couple this with Hispanic machismo bullshit. Their manosphere has them by the balls. Yep, Spanish machismo and also very religious group of people. These three are like the main things that Republicans were able to get Hispanics on. And the reason Trump did so well with them was because when Trump said we're going to build a wall to keep the bad ones out, a bunch of Hispanics in America thought, oh, the bad ones, like the ones I fled from, you know, like a lot of American Mexicans heard that and felt the way that like a white South African would feel if they heard somebody shit talking South Africa. Like if they saw, oh, these South Africans are so rude, the white South African is thinking like, oh yeah, they mean the black South Africans, basically.
and materials for construction are reasonable. People are able to build product and move it out. People are able to give work to the workers that they've had. The workers can work without any sort of worry that they can't even go to the job site because they might be harassed by a state trooper or a police officer here in the city because they're going to call ICE on them.
New tonight, experts say ICE is intensifying operations across the country. Sources telling NBC News almost 10,000 people have been arrested in just 5 days.
How much of what you've seen with President Trump's mass deportation policy has had an impact on you shifting away from the Republican Party?
Oh my God.
A lot.
I could not, in any good conscience, vote or support a Republican candidate.
We are a border town, and we have people that have been here for 15, 20 years that have been providing a life for their families. I believe that we need to respect that as a country. And unfortunately, when Mr. Trump started doing what he was doing,
similar situation with high caste Indians coming in or being born here and thinking they're the oppressor class. Yeah. It's just an incongruity between different systems of racial supremacy. Like, there will be people who in India are like, for the past 1,000 years, I have been a member of the highest caste of Indian society. And then they go over to America and they're shocked to realize that every American thinks that all Indians are the same. Genuinely, for 1,000 years, my family has had slaves. We've been literally at the top of a society that has had 1.4 billion people in it. I am at the top of a racial and social caste that is high, that is larger and more diverse than the Roman Empire was at its peak. And then you go over to America and people are like making shitting on the street jokes about you. It's literally listen, racism and social supremacy are irrational. They are mad that we're irrational against them, but they were irrational against the people beneath them too. Like, in my opinion, you can't be shocked that Americans arbitrarily declare you to be one of the bad Indians when you've arbitrarily declared yourself to be one of the good Indians. Like, you're all, to us, Indians. To you, you have different separations, but like, that's not it's all irrational.
I had never seen the level of anxiety that I saw. I had never seen business owners call me at the level where it's like, we can't get people to go to work.
You had this video that went viral.
Mr. Trump, you're supposed to be our hero, man, but I don't understand how this makes any sense for anyone.
Tell me about it.
It was a cry for help, man. It was a cry for help because
massive cuck shit. I don't know what you want.
I wasn't seeing our local politicians stressing the amount of impact this was having on our economy, on our builders. Yeah. And when I wasn't seeing our politicians, from our mayors to our commissioners, raising awareness that there are picking up people, literally picking them up with proper documentation to be here, why are you our leader?
When we're out on the expressway and we're out there with our signs protesting and stuff, 96% of the response we get from people are positive.
What would it have been like, maybe during Trump 1.0?
Oh my God.
Would you even been out there?
No, and I would have laughed at the people that would have gone out there.
You might be asking yourself, why did these guys vote for Trump if they're so upset about his immigration policy? He was very open about what he wanted to do. Well, the flip side is they have a lot of disagreements with Democrats on this issue too.
The reason I was inclined to vote for Trump was because during the Biden administration, what we saw was a huge influx of immigrants.
You voted for Trump in 2016 too, you fucking dishonest piece of shit. You literally said you voted for him 3 times. What the fuck do you mean the reason I voted for Trump is because of in the Biden administration, ...
Immigrants at our border. I believe we live in the best country in the world. We have billionaires that could throw rockets into the sky. So why is it that we don't have a secure border?
Remember, fascism is a subservient ideology. As much as these guys LARP about being alpha males, the moment you ask them about their politics, they show an unbelievable amount of deference to the people whose boot they live under.
In this political vacuum created by the distrust of how both Trump and Democrats have approached the border and the economy, a new political contender has stepped forward. Last year, Democrat Bobby Pulido launched a campaign for Texas's 15th congressional district, taking on Republican incumbent Monica de la Cruz. Bobby was born and raised in Edinburgh, Texas. He rose to fame as a successful Tejano musician before deciding to enter politics.
I would love for you to introduce yourself to people that may not know who you are.
I spent 30 years singing, but before that, I was a Texas Boy Stater in high school. I studied political science at St. Mary's University. I have been very, very politically engaged, albeit not publicly, this whole time.
He's now making the case for his candidacy as a Democrat in a Trump-supporting region.
It's a K-shaped economy. There's definitely more people falling into poverty.
I didn't realize how bad bootlicking was broadly until getting out in the real world. Unfortunately, they were cooking with the whole natural slaves argument. There are a lot of people, I really think fascism is primarily designed to appeal to these people who are just naturally subservient. In fairness, like, there is a very, very strong cultural push to make people subservient to different authority figures, capital, boss, your family, especially your father. So I don't actually think it's natural in the sense that it's a gene they're born with, but there are people who have a very strong, almost unwavering deference to their social betters that I find absolutely baffling. Just really, really confusing because it's often paired with like hyper-individualistic machismo masculine rhetoric, and I just don't get it.
Then not.
How do you see that reflected here in the Valley?
People are struggling.
Businesses closing, gas prices going up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we have, as Democrats, have not really talked about the prosperity issue. What are we doing to talk about anything that's economically related? Nothing.
To find out
about
whether
China?
Bobby's
I don't
economic
know what
message
you're
was
referring to.
connecting with voters who felt abandoned by both political parties, we brought together Bobby, Mario, and several local residents for a roundtable discussion about Pulido's candidacy and the challenges facing the region.
So my name is Efrain Gomez Jr. I'm from Donna, Texas, a little small town here in the RGB. I'm a construction owner. I'm here as a 2-time Trump supporter.
My name's Ruben Ruiz Jr. I'm a land developer.
Is it cognitive dissonance? I think that it's I often think politics are derived from social or sexual psychoses or beliefs. I personally think that it is a politicized version of the cycle of abuse. In the same way that, like, a grandfather will abuse a father who will abuse their wife, who will abuse their kid. I think that, like, the cycle of authority and moral license is one of the reasons people naturally gravitate. By naturally, again, I don't mean innately. I mean, like, they have a sort of moral tendency or emotional tendency to gravitate towards fascism because they internalize a narrative where it's a dog-eat-dog world. The hard abuse the soft, the strong abuse the weak. But, like, you are fighting for your position in that hierarchy rather than trying to destroy the hierarchy itself.
Also here in the Valley. I've been doing this for 24 years now. I am a Republican. I voted Republican for many years.
My name is Mario Guerrero. Voted for Mr. Trump every time he was on the ballot.
What are some of the biggest issues that voters are facing here right now?
My wife is a healthcare professional. Ask me if I have healthcare.
Do you have health care?
I don't.
They just made a billionaire a trillionaire.
Yeah.
They just made that happen, right? So now Elon's going to go ahead and buy the rest of Boca Chica.
Meanwhile, I'm adding water to my soap bottle just to make it last longer.
The Rio Grande Valley was a farming community. The one thing that unites us all is that we come from nothing. And one thing that unites us is we always want our kids to do better than what we've done. And right now, that's not happening.
In 2024, Donald Trump successfully courted working-class Latino voters by prioritizing the economy and border security. But many of those same voters are now starting to feel disillusioned.
1 in 5 Latino men regret voting for President Trump.
That's you. Probably higher than
That's
that.
you. That's you. How did that happen? How did you go from being ardent Trump supporters to now not?
Everything he promised, he forgot about. So, yes, I regret voting for him.
But this is a conservative place, South Texas.
Oh, we're conservative, but when you start attacking our people, like you start attacking our family, we're such a tight-knit community that you're attacking our families.
As Bobby told us, he's campaigning on economic issues, and those are cutting through to these voters. But immigration is on top of their minds too, and the way they tell it, the two issues.
In my opinion, it does root back to the ideological failure of liberalism to argue for itself, because when you fall back on kitchen table issues, economic issues, what you often mean is like, here's how I will personally benefit you. But I think people should vote against Republicans because what Republicans represent is empirically wrong and morally reprehensible. Like, I think that the argument for like liberalism over fascism, the argument against Republicans in particular, is one you can make without ever having to directly appeal to a person's well-being. Like, obviously that helps. I'm not saying that's bad or shouldn't be done. It's just like, you know, here's how stopping Hitler benefits you. Okay, like, I'm glad, and I believe you. I think that stopping Hitler helps me. But it feels a little bit patronizing. You know what I mean? Like, even if stopping Hitler didn't help me, I still think it'd be good to stop him.
Are deeply connected, as the ICE crackdowns have had a major economic impact on this district and their businesses.
It's not only that they're getting out people that are undocumented. They go and detain people with legal U.S. green cards.
They detain naturalized citizens, okay?
Yeah.
So how can you, they did the paperwork, they did everything right. Why are you detaining them?
They're scaring people, bro. That's the thing. And then because people are scared, they're afraid to go to the job site.
That's right. A community that is living in fear and paralyzed is not a community that can function right. When the thing was getting bad and they were raiding everybody and work just went to a standstill, if you're somebody that's in that business and you say, man, I got a loan out on this project and I can't get it going, I need somebody to at least a shoulder to cry on or go, hey, let me see what I can do, whatever. The last thing you want is for somebody to ignore you.
There's still a little trepidation about whether or not Bobby will go and be the Bobby of the Rio Grande when he goes to Washington, D.C. Do you guys worry about that at all, that he'll switch up on you?
Now that we know.
That's an awesome... It's like a Native American. You know how Native Americans love to be like, yeah, my name is Big Dick or whatever. So that's a bit insensitive. I mean, they name off of like accomplishments or stuff. I'm sorry, just Bobby of the Rio Grande Center. I'm sorry. Can we just move on? I'm aborting this bit, okay?
That we can go to Washington.
I'm aborting its bit in its like 7th trimester, okay? This is like a 2.5-year-old kid or something that I'm just pulling the plug on.
At any time. I'm just going to show up at Bobby's office like, yo, let's go have lunch. I'm being serious.
And he would.
We'll bring the valley to you.
Yeah.
Pulido's opponent, incumbent Congresswoman Monica De La Cruz, has represented Texas's 15th congressional district since 2023. De La Cruz has attacked Bobby's past as a Tejano singer, saying,
South Texas isn't just a stop on a comeback tour for me.
And for some voters, these attacks are resonating.
I'm real skeptical of people that pop up out of nowhere.
And that's Bobby's story.
Yeah, you just pop up out of nowhere. Where's your public service? Where did you go? What did you do?
I had never heard of him even considering politics, you know, and for him to now be in the race, well, you know, I mean,
kind of surprising.
Well, you know, because now it's not going to be him. It's going to be all his backing, you know, the people that are actually pulling the strings. They got somebody with a good name, you know. He's very popular, you know.
What are the issues that voters here care about that Pulido might be missing? Or uninformed on?
I just think they want him to sing. you know, sing. But I mean, you know, are you going to have the Valley's best interest in mind?
The person he's running against is Monica La Cruz. Why didn't they? I'm pretty sure people have said this many times. She should have stuck to selling insurances. That's what she did. I want a politician to understand who we are, what our
it pisses me off so fucking much when people can't admit why they support the things they support. It's so much like the politic, like people don't build their politics off Bates principles. They build their politics off of like a vague set of biases and preconceptions that they just assemble positions around like a shell.
community is built off of. There's not one building in the Valley that has not been touched by an immigrant hand. We need representatives to understand that, and we do have some, except for one.
Despite broad community concern, Monica de la Cruz has continued to vote for funding increases for ICE and border security. Just last month, she voted to pass the Secure America Act, a bill backed by the Trump administration, which allocated nearly $70 billion specifically to ICE and U.S. Customs and Border Protection.
My biggest issue with her is that she does not understand the people. There's so many people that I know that have so many questions and have been calling for a town hall forever. They just have questions. They just want a answer, do something. Like, she's really absent.
They've been posting like crazy today too.
In March, Monica de la Cruz released a campaign video criticizing Pulido,
but
arguing
this election isn't about who you want performing at your niece's quinceañera.
The Pulido campaign capitalized on the remark and promptly put out an open call for invitations to perform at quinceañeras. They received over 1,000 responses in the first 24 hours. We tagged along with Bobby to several of these quinceañeras to get a first-hand look. Why go into politics at a time when people don't trust politicians at an astronomical percentage?
I don't blame them.
You want to change that?
Yes, because the thing is, most politicians go in there and it's just all about their party loyalty. People want you to put them before your party. Don't worry about the party. Worry about us.
Yeah, I mean, between that, the racism and the homophobia, he might have a shot.
As my time in Texas ended, I kept going back to what I heard in the roundtable. These guys who voted for Trump were opposed to the current administration's immigration crackdown, and that's part of what's motivating them to vote for Bobby. But they're also not solidly Democratic voters now.
We don't want the chaos anymore. We don't want chaos. Period.
Well, we have chaos right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like we went from one extreme to another.
That means there's a gap. Why?
Yeah, the far right from Trump to the far left of Biden. God, fuck me, dude.
Open beyond this one candidate. And Democrats should be paying attention to this race. Not just because Bobby is an unconventional candidate, but because these voters are wrestling with a tension that neither party has been able to solve.
Next election, you could be up for grabs again if Pulido doesn't deliver on his promises or in his word.
I mean, I think that everybody would be.
Thanks for watching.
Please stop arguing with nuts. It's like the lowest hanging fruit. Whatever, man. Whatever, man.